The Dyatlov Pass Incident, Russia's most chilling mystery. In January 1959, a group of 9 experienced Soviet hikers, led by 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov, set out to conquer Mount Otorten in the Ural Mountains of Russia. They were all young, fit, and seasoned in navigating the harsh wilderness. Initially, the group had 10 members, but one of them, Yuri Yudin, fell ill early in the journey and returned, unintentionally saving his life. The others continued, unaware that they were heading into one of the most enduring mysteries in modern history. When they failed to return as scheduled, a search party was sent weeks later. What they discovered shocked the nation and still baffles investigators today. The group's tent was found pitched on a remote slope, but it was slashed open from the inside, and their belongings, warm clothes and shoes, were all left behind. In freezing, 30-degree site temperatures, why would anyone tear their way out of a tent and run into the wilderness barefoot and half-dressed? Footprints in the snow led investigators toward the edge of a forest, where the first 2 bodies were found near a burned-out fire, clad only in underwear. 3 more bodies, including Dyatlov's, were found scattered between the tent and the trees, as if they had tried to crawl back to safety. But the final 4 bodies, discovered 2 months later, buried under several feet of snow, were in even more disturbing condition. One woman was missing her tongue, eyes, and lips. Another hiker had a crushed skull, and 2 had broken ribs so severe it was as if they'd been hit by a car, yet their skin showed no external wounds. Even more strangely, their clothes contained traces of radiation. Official Soviet reports cited a vague cause of death, an unknown compelling force. Over the decades, countless theories emerged, some plausible, others far-fetched. Was it an avalanche? Experts say no, there were no signs of one. Could it have been a secret military test involving radioactivity or sonic weapons? Some evidence supports that theory. Others have pointed to infrasound-induced panic, where wind through the mountains can trigger hallucinations and irrational behavior. And then, of course, came the wilder ideas: UFOs, aliens, or the mythical Yeti. No single theory explains all the facts. To this day, over 60 years later, no one knows for certain what caused the horrific deaths of the Dyatlov Pass hikers. The mountain where it happened now bears a haunting nickname, Dead Mountain. The Smiling Man, a night of unexplainable terror. It was around 2:30 in the morning in 2008 when a man living in Seattle had an encounter that would haunt him for years. He had been out for a late-night walk to clear his mind, something he often did. The streets were empty, quiet, and dimly lit. As he walked, lost in thought, he noticed something strange ahead. Under a flickering street lamp stood a tall, gangly man dressed in an old-fashioned suit. He was twitching, moving in a jerky, unnatural way, like a marionette controlled by broken strings. The man didn't seem drunk or homeless. His clothes were clean, his appearance bizarrely formal. The walker slowed down, unnerved. Then, the dancing man turned around. His face was pale, and his mouth was stretched into a grotesquely wide smile, far too wide for a normal human. He didn't blink, just stared. Then he started walking toward him, slowly at first, but still dancing. The witness crossed the street. The man mimicked him, still smiling, still twitching. Then he began to giggle, a high-pitched, giddy laugh that sounded almost inhuman. Panicked, the man turned and ran. Behind him, the smiling man chased him, giggling and stumbling forward, arms outstretched. He eventually found a convenience store, ducked inside, and hid behind the shelves. When he peeked outside minutes later, the man was gone. He reported the incident to the police, but there was no trace of the man anywhere in the area. The Reddit post detailing this event went viral in 2014, posted to the subreddit r/Let's-Not-Meet. Strangely, people from all over the world began sharing similar encounters. In Japan, there are stories of the grinning man, a mysterious figure with a permanent smile, who appears at night. Others have claimed to see him in parking lots, in hotel corridors, even outside bedroom windows. Some psychologists believe these are shared delusions, fueled by urban legends and sleep paralysis. Others are convinced this is something real, a supernatural entity or even an interdimensional being feeding on fear. Whether it was a mentally ill man, a ghost, or something entirely beyond comprehension, one thing remains. The smiling man left an impression so deep that those who've seen him can never forget his face. The black-eyed children. Terror at the doorstep. In 1996, journalist Brian Bethel was sitting in his car in Abilene, Texas, parked outside a movie theater, when he had one of the first widely documented encounters with what would become known as the black-eyed children. Two boys, perhaps aged 10 to 14, approached his window. They were polite but unsettling, asking if he could give them a ride home to get money for a movie. Initially, Bethel thought little of it until he felt a sudden wave of dread for no apparent reason. Then he looked into their eyes. They were pitch black, no whites, no pupils, nothing. Just empty, inky darkness. The boys insisted, "We can't come in unless you let us." That line set off a primal fear in Bethel. He sped off, heart pounding. Later, when he recounted the event online, he was shocked to find dozens of similar stories from people across the country and eventually around the world. These children, usually seen at night or during storms, knock on doors or windows, asking to be let in, sometimes claiming to use the phone, get a ride, or come inside for food. But every time they share common traits: jet black eyes, pale skin, and strangely formal speech. Victims often report feeling dizzy, nauseous, or confused afterward. Some claim to experience memory loss, electrical disturbances, or even illnesses after contact. Many believe these beings are demonic entities in disguise, possibly vampires or evil spirits from folklore. Others suspect they are alien hybrids, engineered for some dark purpose. There's even a theory that they are part of a government experiment, perhaps designed to test fear responses. Skeptics argue it's all a product of internet-fueled hysteria and the power of suggestion. But then why do so many accounts share eerily identical details, often from people who had never read about them before? One particularly terrifying thought recurs in most stories. The children never force their way in, they ask for permission. And in every account, victims insist that if they had let them in, something terrible would have happened. The mystery of the black-eyed children persists, a terrifying blend of paranormal, psychological, and folkloric fear. Whether they're real or imagined, one truth remains: they don't knock just once.